Welcome to a special edition of the Marne Report from Winn Army Community Hospital. I'm Theron Warren, and today my guest is Mr. Vernon Harris. So tell us a little bit about yourself, sir.
I work at Multidisciplinary Behavioral Health here at Winn Army Community Hospital, and I'm a substance use disorder clinical care provider.
What is your message about tobacco and nicotine use?
If you are ready to quit, we're ready to help. And it's never too soon or never too late to quit. And primarily, we're here to help. And so we know that most people who use tobacco or cigarettes, e-cigarettes, smokeless, they want to quit, but a lot of times they either think it's too hard, too difficult, or they don't know how to get started. So we're here to help.
What do you say to somebody that comes to you and says, I want to quit, but I'd rather do it myself?
Well, that's pretty common, that people want to quit and they've tried quitting by themselves and either they weren't successful, or they quit and they relapsed and went back to smoking or dipping or vaping or using smokeless. And what we say is that we want to make the process as simple and easy, because it's not easy to quit. And so doing it by yourself is really more difficult. And what the research has shown is that using group support, using medications, getting information on the process of quitting is more effective than doing it on your own.
What are some of the benefits of quitting?
There are numerous. In fact, if you're a smoker and within the first 24 hours, your blood pressure goes back to normal if you don't have other problems contributing to that. And of course, monetary benefits, because tobacco is pretty expensive.
How safe are e-cigarettes and vaping as alternatives to smokeless tobacco and cigarettes?
As of now, and you probably heard in the news, there's a lot of injuries, lung problems that's coming up from people vaping. And right now the research is not conclusive on the safety of e-cigarettes or vape products. And plus there's some medical issues coming up with that. And besides, even the nicotine products are still addictive.
What is the best advice you can give somebody who's trying to quit?
If you want to quit, you can do it. The best time is to do it now and to consider your reasons for quitting, considering the benefits from quitting, and stick with it. You can do it and we can help.
Thank you, Mr. Harris, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Up next, we have Specialist O'Derry Duke from 1st Brigade Combat Team. Well, thank you for joining us today, Specialist Duke.
You're welcome.
So, how long have you been using tobacco products or any nicotine products?
About 3 years.
How many packs of cigarettes did you smoke a day?
Like one.
And how much is a pack of cigarettes?
Like $5.65.
Let's do a little math here. Let's say $6 for a pack of cigarettes, and you smoked 7 packs in a week. Comes about $42. So let's times that by 52. In a year, you have spent almost $2,200 on cigarettes. Do you know what you can buy with $2,200?
Buy a lot of stuff.
You can buy a lot of stuff with $2,200. Well, now that's money that you're going to be saving by quitting. What would you like to share with others who are trying to quit?
Definitely get help, because there's nothing to be embarrassed about. A lot of people smokes. And if you really want to quit, it shouldn't matter. Just go get help.
Specialist Duke, thank you for joining us today. Coming up next, we have Staff Sergeant David Hyde from the Warrior Transition Battalion. Thank you, Staff Sergeant Hyde, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Tell us, how did you get started using nicotine products?
A big part of it's culture. My family, very poor, very uneducated family, and they were doing it. Both my parents, I'm the youngest of 4, so all my siblings were using tobacco products. It was just a way of life. So, you know, from a very young age, it was readily available and almost encouraged just to smoke, use smokeless tobacco. So, yeah, I mean, it's just part of my environment growing up.
So what prompted you to quit and seek assistance?
I didn't want my kids to repeat the same mistakes that I made, and I didn't want to repeat the same mistakes that my parents made with me. So I just wanted to break the chain. I wanted to stop with me.
So what would you like to share to others that want to quit but just haven't got around to it?
Really start considering what it's doing to your body, to your family, to your friends. And if you really want to quit, just make that conscious decision to do it. There's nothing to be afraid of. That's, I think, one of the bigger issues with quitting is there's that fear of, when am I going to get my next nicotine? When am I going to get my next cigarette? It's a very tough thing to explain, but if you smoke or dip out there, then they know what I'm talking about. It's a forefront on your mind, no matter what you're doing. You get on an airplane, you're waiting to land so you could go smoke. You go to a restaurant, you're waiting to get done eating so you can go smoke. It's an addiction. It's a drug, and it's very not healthy for you.
What are some of the impacts has smoking had on you and your family?
On my family, that's a big one. I have 3 teenage children, and over the last 2 years, I've caught each one of them with cigarettes. And I've had to stop it right there. And then I realized that I was setting that example. I was absolutely showing them that it's okay to do these things. And that's why I sought help to quit smoking, because I didn't want them to see me continue on while I'm telling them to quit.
Thank you for joining us today, Staffs on Hot.
And thank you for having me.